You're watching Football Daily, and these are the top 10 moments that made Bayern Munich. 10 and Bayern Munich are promoted to the recently formed Bundesliga, beating tennis Borussia Berlin 8-0 in the playoffs. The DFB opting that 1860 Munich represented the city, with Bayern resolving to earn their place in the Bundesliga on merit, from which they have now never been relegated. For 9, Hitzfeld's side wins the 2001 Champions League final, beating Valencia's side 5-4 on penalties. Bayern's return to the pinnacle of European football was the culmination of Hitzfeld's development of the team, featuring Kahn, Lizarazu and Effenberg, winning a hat-trick of Bundesligas along the way. R8 is in 1932 when Bayern Munich had a Jewish president, Kurt Landauer, and had led them to a first German championship in 1932. Landauer had to resign, however, after Hitler seized power and the Nazis' discrediting of the club beleaguered its development during the war and into the post-war years. In the mid-50s, Bayern Munich were facing bankruptcy. Local businessman Roland ENDLER saved the club financially, which makes R7. For 6, it's Mia San Mia. The early 90s were also a difficult time for Die Roten, and in 1992 the club survived relegation by just 5 points. 3 years later, Karl-Heinz and Uli Hoeneß began restructuring the club, based on fiscal responsibility and growing homegrown and preferably local talent, the fruit of which can now be seen in the likes of Thomas Müller today. At 5, a then 13-year-old and devout 1860 Munich fan, Franz Beckenbauer, is slapped across the face by an 1860 player, with the legend angrily deciding to join the city rivals instead. The mythical incident couldn't have worked out better for Bayern, with the Kaiser becoming the backbone of both Germany and Bayern's most glory-laden eras. Next must be 4, and it's Bayern's first ever Bundesliga title, won just 3 years after gaining promotion to the league. A team that structured around a young Beckenbauer, Gerd Müller and Sepp Maier would go on to utterly dominate the German top division for decades to come. And Bayern wouldn't have too long to wait until their first ever European Cup win, which brings us into the top 3. An all-white clad Bayern beat Atletico Madrid 4-0 in a replay, with Müller and Uli Hoeneß both grabbing braces. Our penultimate moment that defined Bayern Munich, and certainly the modern day era, is the 2013 treble, capped by beating Borussia Dortmund at Wembley. Just a year earlier, Bayern had had their hearts broken by Chelsea in the final in their own stadium, but in a triumph of determination and their footballing philosophy, Bayern Munich announced their arrival as one of the modern day superpowers of the game in spectacular fashion. And for the number 1 moment that made Bayern Munich, it has to be the hat-trick of European Cups from 1974 to 76, a success perhaps eclipsing Real Madrid's dominance of the 50s due to the era it came in, and one certainly not yet surpassed in the modern era. Beckenbauer's team, besting Atletico Madrid, Leeds and finally St Etienne, makes a strong case for being one of the greatest of all time. So if you enjoyed that video, don't forget to give us a like and check out the rest of our Top 10 Moments series. And we want you to tell us who we should be doing next. Let us know in the comments below and feature your moments that made your favourite team.